Andrew Urquhart with you on the program today. A fun news story that came out of Dunedin Airport. They're putting a limit, a restriction on how long people can hug. Apparently, it's causing problems, but it's also caused a little bit of an international media storm. Joining me on the program now is CEO of Dunedin Airport, Daniel Bono. Daniel, kia ora, thanks for your time.
Kia ora, good morning, everybody.
Now, you have to ask, why did this have to happen? Was it causing a problem? Was there congestion at Dunedin Airport with all of these huggers taking much more than their allocated time? Is this a solution to an existing problem, or is this just cheeky Dunedin sense of humour?
It's a really interesting question. So this was a solution to an existing problem. We stood up our old drop-off zone, which had been temporarily closed for the terminal expansion project a few years ago.
Yep.
We had a temporary location north of the terminal. That in itself was creating congestion issues and safety issues. So we had customers opening their doors into oncoming traffic, plus at busy times that was backing up. So why don't we turn on the old drop-off zone that was ready to go? And we have. And through the process, the signage that we had beforehand was pretty aggressive, very authoritarian. You're going to get clamped. You're going to get fined.
Yeah.
Bad things are going to happen. It's very negative. And you know what? As I think I've said elsewhere, airports they're human beings, they're humanistic places. Let's have a bit of fun with it, and find a different way to get the same message into people's minds about do your thing, have your farewell, but kind of move on so that we don't create this congestion problem.
Because you can imagine the scenario where you're going, you know what, I've cut it a bit fine. You know, it just took longer to fill up at gas at the last petrol station before the airport than I thought.
Yes.
The bag check-in is closing very soon, and there's 50 people hugging each other between me and the bag drop-off. I'm going to miss my flight. Had that ever happened before at Dunedin Airport?
Yes. Yep. People would get disrupted, and that's not a good time for anybody. So we want the experience to be enjoyable, and actually people have a good time and can make their flight. Stress isn't good for anyone.
Yes.
Which is interesting because hugs are actually a really good stress reducer, as it turns out.
So you're not anti-hug as such, just get your hugs out of the way and let other people catch their flights.
Yeah, and hey, if you want a longer farewell or a fonder farewell, by all means, pull into the car park, you get your 15 minutes free, or stay longer, go into the terminal and prolong those farewells. We encourage it.
Yeah.
It's just around the drop-off. If you're going to drop off. If you're not dropping off, go into the car park, come to the terminal. And you still get quarter of an hour free anyway. So,
which is more generous than most airports, I must say.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes. and perhaps this is part of the thing as well. A little bit more casual. Dunedin Airport, you know, that you in other airports around New Zealand and different parts of the world, you will get clamped if you stop for even a few seconds over your time. So keeping it friendly in Dunedin, 15 minutes free parking, that's a pretty good deal.
It is, and 3 minutes for a hug. That's a long time, very long time. Super awkward.
It is a bit awkward, and the feedback that we've had from listeners is 3 minutes, particularly in hug time. That's a very, very long period of time. Was there any particular thought behind the timing of it? Surely you can do everything you need to do in 3 minutes when it comes to saying goodbye, right?
You can pull up, you can open the doors, you can get the bags out, you can say goodbye to mum, auntie, your sister, whoever else is in the car farewelling you at the airport and all get a decent hug in that time frame. 3 minutes is actually quite a long time.
So it's a cumulative thing? So it's or is it per person? Because I mean, people will want to know that.
Yeah, I know that's coming up going. So I've got 4 people in my farewell party. Do I get it for each person? No.
No.
Actually, the 3 minutes it's quite operational, and it's about that flow versus it's 3 minutes is a decent amount of time to kind of do a drop off.
Exactly. If you want a longer hug, bring less people to the airport. That's the answer to that one.
Or go to the car park.
Exactly. 15 minutes of hugging. My goodness.
Yeah.
The other big question that we've had is, how are you enforcing this? And we've had speculation that you might have people with stopwatches timing the hugs, or perhaps enforcer drones that go into strike mode after a period of time has passed. Will there be strict enforcement of people that just take your rules and mock them?
The short answer is no. So we are trying to have a bit of fun with this. At the end of the day, these are hotbeds of emotion airports.
Yeah.
We will ask people to move on if they're taking too long, but we don't have plans at this point for hug police or anything like that. But hey, maybe at some point you'll see some hug police out there issuing hug tickets. And a friendly reminder to people, we can have a bit of fun with that.
We could, and it could be a great sense of revenue for Dunedin Airport as well. And you realise, though, that now this has gone international, and just about all the major news agencies have picked up on this. Were you surprised at the international reaction, Daniel?
Totally. This took us by surprise. We had no idea. I mean, initially when media reached out to us when this was a little news story in the first week, the signage changed. I went, this is not news. Can we move on? We've opened the old drop-off zone. Yep. There's a sign up. Righto, cool. Let's get on with it. But it's turned into a spectacle around the world. So in the last 48 hours, I've been on interviews all around the planet, various agencies, and this story's gone ballistic.
It's great news for Dunedin Airport. It's great news for Dunedin. It's great news for the CEO of Dunedin Airport. Job done, right?
Good and bad. I mean, if anything, what I think this has done is it has actually got the conversation going around the world about Dunedin.
Yeah.
People are going, and some announcers of some countries that struggle to even pronounce Dunedin. Dunedin, others, all sorts of interpretations of it. But if anything, it's put Dunedin kind of on the global map.
Yeah.
And had a bit of fun with it. So
the downside of this, and I'm sure you didn't think this through when you put up the signs, is there may be international influencers that put Dunedin on their itinerary, so that they can stand in front of your sign and hug somebody for an awkwardly long period of time with a stopwatch going. This could be the new bucket list thing to do, is to have awkwardly long hugs at Dunedin airports in front of the sign. I mean, again, if it brings the people in, it's good news for Dunedin Airport, but it could create a bigger problem perhaps.
Totally. I mean, I'd encourage it, and I've put this offer out to those around the world. If you want to come into Dunedin, please come over. I've offered to take you on a personal tour of Dunedin and the Lower South myself.
Wow.
And if you need a hug, I'm happy to do that as well. So that may put people off, but
free hugs.
Ready.
Free hugs.
We'd love to see you.
Yeah, no, it is a beautiful place. One of my favourite, in fact, it's top of the list in terms of my favourite places in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Daniel, thank you for the work you do. Thanks for putting Dunedin on the international map once again. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.